Hey guys, just wanted to get on here quick and talk about something I see kind of talked about a lot, and it's in some people's minds it's really an important question to answer before the pursuit. And what I'm talking about is the notion of self-defense. So people talk a lot about specific kinds of things that can go wrong, the fears, the whatever, all that stuff. And what I really wanted to kind of get at today is I see plenty of data that suggests that self-defense training helps women. It's usually psychology data. There's other data, but generally speaking, it's based on psychology. And does it actually prevent women from sexual assault, sexual abuse, things of that sort? And resoundingly, the answer is usually yes. So we hear often, people say women should take self-defense. And I as a self-defense instructor, of course, I fully agree. Now, I don't mean that to be tongue-in-cheek. What I'm saying is I think that it actually does benefit. Now, does it benefit everybody equally? I see stuff all the time that says, does self-defense really help women? And does self-defense do this? And does self-defense do that? And is it real? And blah, blah, blah. Look, it doesn't help everybody the same ways. That is 100% true. Can it help you? Absolutely. Do you let it in? That's the question. Are you looking for help? Do you actually want to be helped? Because if you want to be helped, then self-defense can help you. If you don't think you need any help, then self-defense isn't going to do much for you. Likewise, if you think that self-defense instructors have all of the answers, I would think you're being sold a bill of goods. There is no person, no method, no idea probably that has all of the answers. My experience suggests that every situation that you're going to run into, every self-defense scenario you are forced to deal with is going to be completely unique. And mostly what you see touted as self-defense deals, almost exclusively with the notion of stranger danger. You are literally always, on the lookout for strangers trying to take advantage of you. And that's really important. You need to know that. But statistically, it's not the most important. The most important is acquaintance danger and or spouse partner danger. That is really the highest category of need for self-protection is spouse or partners. That is roughly 50-something% of all sexual assaults, abuse, yada yada. So the notion that you need to be aware of strangers, valid, but it literally only 10 or 15% of the possible outcomes statistically. Now, that doesn't mean that it won't happen to you. It just means that it's less likely to happen to you. So you should still be aware of those things, and you can actually apply, once you understand what the real issues are, you can start to apply the things you would learn for interpersonal violence to stranger situations. And most of it is the same skill sets, right? It's just really being able to sort of look at things appropriately. Do you have, I'm a firm believer that all of this is predicated on boundaries. If you do not have good boundaries for your personal relationships, if they're not clearly stated, if they're not clearly understood by you as well as by the partner, if they're not enforced by you to the extent of what are you willing to do about it if they're breached, which they will be, and so on, right? You have boundaries for work, you have boundaries for play, you have boundaries for social settings, you have boundaries for strangers, you have boundaries for acquaintances, and they may overlap, but there's certainly going to be differences. And so it's critically important that you understand what the differences are and that you verbalize and clearly manifest them in order to be able to implement them and to use them to your advantage. Once you do that, then it's really just using awareness, which is another tool, right? Situational, environmental, and then threat awareness, and bringing those into concert with your boundaries. So your boundaries, to me, are the foundation. Everybody talks about situational awareness. Critically important. You got to have it. But situational awareness in and of itself will not give you all the tools you need until you have your boundaries sorted out. Because all you can basically do with situational awareness is go, that feels icky, that looks icky. But until you've sort of figured out what it is that feels icky, looks icky, what you're willing to accept, what you're unwilling to accept, you still cannot fully expect situational awareness in and of itself to sort through everything. You really have to have your boundaries sorted out. And so to me, the whole notion of self-defense, self-protection, does it do any good? Does it benefit people? It really depends on what you're willing to implement, and what you want to get from it, and what you expect to get from it. And it for sure has everything to do with the person teaching you. You cannot discount the fact that some people do not have experience with boundaries, situational awareness, and all that. So then, what are they really teaching you? They're just teaching you basically to fight back. And that's a really, that's a huge jump, right? You have to be able to use your boundaries to basically understand that a person is a predator and that they're trying to prey on you. And that could be simple. It doesn't always have to be violence. It doesn't always have to be sexual in nature. It could just be somebody trying to take advantage of you at the workplace, right? Boundaries are the thing. Situational awareness helps you to see that your boundaries are being breached. Environmental awareness shows you how to escape or not put yourself into situations where your boundaries could be breached. And threat awareness tells you this is happening and now I need to act. And so that's when you kind of transition into the physical aspects of self-protection, self-defense. And so you're really learning the whole thing. If you get a good self-defense instructor, you're going to learn all of that together. Not everybody teaches all that, and that's unfortunate because I think in those situations, self-defense is pretty limited, doesn't really benefit you as well as it could, and as much as it could. And again, there are things that are not direct that you can benefit from in a self-defense, self-protection training. You can be restored. The motto, the premise of Guerrilla self-protection is that we want to help you prevent, we want to help you prepare, we want to help you survive, and then we want to help you be restored. And the restoration process, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not pretending to be a psychologist. But what I am saying is that when you start to put yourself out there, when you confront some things that you're afraid of, when you have to respond to situations that were like something you've encountered before, it kind of puts you in a place where you start to heal yourself. I'm not healing you. That's not what's happening. You start to heal yourself by putting yourself out there, by learning to take control of your space, by setting your own boundaries. Once you learn to do that, then you realize, hey man, my boundaries were breached. That in itself can be restorative. It takes the blame off of you and it puts the blame where it belongs, to the person who perpetrated whatever issue. And so to me, that is the difference, right? When you get good self-defense instruction, good self-protection instruction, it should benefit you in more than just stranger danger ideas. And frankly, if you're really getting a good program, it should have fitness into it. It should have health, and it should be fun. It should be challenging. All those things. It isn't just fear-based training. The whole notion of it being about a boogeyman behind every corner is statistically debunked. I mean, technically, even though 1 in 3 women are assaulted, 33% over the course of their lifetime. Statistically, that's not even accurate, because those are numbers that are given from a per capita sort of standpoint. But a lot of times people who are assaulted earlier in life are again assaulted once, twice, 3 times. Part of that restorative process is to give a person who maybe has been assaulted courage, to give them strength, to give them a safe place to sort of explore the whole thing, and to give them opportunities to communicate about it, particularly with other people who can relate. That's not going to happen in every self-defense class. That's not going to happen even in 25% of them. But I can tell you that even as I've done this for a little bit over a year and 3 months, that I've run into countless people who tell me their stories, and they tell me how things have pushed them, and things have been kind of inadvertently done that kind of put them in a process of growth. And it's been fascinating, and it's been personally growing for me. I was assaulted as a kid a couple times, and so for me this has been really beneficial to be able to give back, right? That's been my restorative process, is being able to give it back to people and to let them reach out for others and serve others with it. There's nothing more restorative, in my opinion, than raising somebody up who can then go on to help other people and give them that sense of strength and community. And so for me, the whole notion, again, I harp on it, but not everybody sees everything I post. So the whole purpose of calling it guerrilla self-protection is that it's the community rising up against it, and it's the individuals taking ownership of themselves and stepping up to train friends and family, and then reach out to their neighborhoods and then their broader communities. And so the whole concept here is an army that you create for yourself in your own community to fight against stupid crap, whether it's abuse, physical or sexual. It doesn't really matter to me. They're all the same. Bullying, any kind of trafficking mentalities, could be even racism. It really just, it kind of depends on you and your situation.